as a relief commissioner of a state government, for example. That is typically an assignment in which for months together you will have not too much of work, and if at all, Khuda na khasta, a drought comes or a flood comes or a tsunami comes, then your life will be very, very different. So you cannot really predict your life as an IAS officer, and that is half the fun of it. My name is Partha Sarthi Sen Sharma, and I'm an IAS officer of the 1994 batch of Uttar Pradesh cadre. Right now, I'm working as Principal Secretary, Medical Health and Family Welfare in the government of Uttar Pradesh, and I'm located in Lucknow. And there is no typical life of an IAS officer, not a typical day of an IAS officer, because of many reasons. But it depends on what postings he is doing, in which cadre he is in, at what stage of life he is in, what stage of family he is in. So it is a combination of all this. For example, today, when I have already done around 29 years of my service, I'm in a different stage of my life. My daughter is grown up, she has left her home. It is a different stage of my life compared to a SDM or a CDO with a young daughter or a young son. So life would be different depending upon the postings as well as the stage of your family life. Today, for example, when I get up, it will be either that I go for a physical regime, I go for a swim or a game. Also, as a part of the job, you will be going through the media. What is coming out in newspapers, what is coming out in... And typically, in most of your assignments, there will be somebody who will be assigned to give you what is the gist of the media which is coming up. And you will have to take a call in which to react, in which not to react. So that is one part of your morning regime. Then you naturally have breakfast, probably spend some time with your family, and reach office and by 9:30 in state, in Government of India by 9. So life of an IAS officer can be very, very long, but it depends on the posting. Mostly, you will have postings which are very heavy, and you'll always find that your desk has a lot of papers, a lot of files. Typically, in Government of India, you will not be able to come home for lunch in the states, because in the state capitals, the homes and the distances will be less. You may be able to come home for lunch. But typically, your evenings will spill up into 6:30, 7, 8, 8:30 also. In the field postings, when you are in the field, it is a bit of a different from when you are in the later life in the secretariat. We used to believe that in our time, the field was 24/7 job. At any point of time, you were expected to reach on the spot or take a call. Now, with the internet connectivity, with mobile phones, you are actually 24/7 in all of your jobs, because everything in every news item in social media, every phone call, you are expected to respond to, or at least keep yourself abreast. So because of internet, mobile phone, because of social media, the job has become more time consuming. It is almost more 24/7 job, and that is how life is. But I would definitely urge all the young officers and young aspirants that regardless of that, regardless of how much heavy your assignment is, try to keep some time for yourself, for your mental and physical well-being. Keep some physical regime. For a long part of my career, I could play badminton. I was a regular badminton player. I used to play some sort of cricket, but mainly badminton. And even today I go for swim. So I think it is very, very important to keep a physical regime, to keep your mental health, and to read widely. It is also important because there are certain assignments of your career you may not have so much work to do. And if you do not have other interests and other things to do, if you do not have a reading habit, and that are the times when you may feel disgruntled with your life. Reading will also give you a wider perspective of life, and it will keep you grounded. That is my advice to all young officers. How much time you can spare for yourself and your family will always depend upon your assignment. It will also depend upon which cadre you are in. Not all cadres are same, not all assignments are same. So in Uttar Pradesh, for example, the pressure on you will be probably much higher than if you are in a smaller state with not so much of attention and not so much of media attention. But regardless of that, when your family is young, you will try to give time for your young children, for your family. This will be a struggle, but you have to be conscious of this fact that you need to give some time to your family, your young children, because once they grow up, it will not be the same. Those times will not come back. So if in my time, I've been very lucky that I have been able to spend time with my growing up daughter most of the time. But these are choices that every officer has to make for themselves. How much time and how much work, how much family, how much time to themselves. Also, certain assignments become busy at some point of time. So if you are in election commission and there is no elections, life is very different. But if you are in election commission and there is general elections at that point of time, then the life will be very different. So similarly, as a census directorate, for example, census takes place every 10 years. In between those 9 years, the life can be very peaceful. But if you are posted in a census directorate on the 10th year when the census is taking place, then life can be very difficult. Similarly, as a relief commissioner of a state government, for example, that is typically an assignment in which for months together you will have not too much of work, and if at all, khuda na khasta, a drought comes or a flood comes or a tsunami comes, then your life will be very, very different. So you cannot really predict your life as an IAS officer, and that is half the fun of it. I think as a life of an IAS officer, it is important to keep your head grounded and your feet in the ground. It is important to have a physical regimen. It is important to have a wide reading, some interest apart from your job, and it is important to give some time to your family and your young children. That is my message to an IAS officer's life. Thank you.